In 2023, Wishfully Games dropped a beautifully crafted puzzle platformer titled Planet of Lana that told an intriguing sci-fi story across a gorgeous landscape. And 3 years later, we're getting another beautiful sequel in the form of Planet of Lana 2: Children of the Leaf, a continuation of Lana's story in this lore-rich world. But with the first game being beloved by so many, there are high expectations to live up to for its sequel. So, does Planet of Lana 2 reach the intergalactic highs of the first game, or has poor Lana crashed and burned? Well, before I give all the game's secrets away, support real people that make real things over at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames, where your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. I should caveat this review with the fact that I loved the first game, so Planet of Lana 2 would have had to do a lot to disappoint me, which I am pleased to say it did not. But that is me getting ahead of myself, so let's dive into the particulars first. In order to explain the story of this game, I fear I will need to cover some key points of context from the first game. So if you happen to be absorbing this review having not already played the first game, maybe sit through the few-hour runtime before continuing on with this review. But if you're just needing a refresher, the things you need to know are thus. Lana's planet, which we believe to be called Novo, was invaded by aggressive robots who hunted and trapped humans for research. Lana met a little android cat called Mui, who helped her communicate and hack into the robots. Lana saves her sister and discovers a crashed spaceship with remnants of a lost society where humans and robots seemed to have lived in harmony. And with that, we begin the tale of the second game, picking things up with Lana a few years after the conclusion of the first game. Both she and her sister Elo have grown up, now in a community of humans living in tandem with the tamed robots we met in the original. Of course, there are still dangers, but Lana's curiosity is stronger than her worry, and thus she finds herself diving into the dangerous depths of the ship's ruins with her younger adopted sister Anwar, who unfortunately becomes unwell, and thus Lana must embark on a journey to gather 3 ingredients to save her life. Over the course of the game's roughly 5-hour runtime, we search for the ingredients and become very aware of an evil cult that is drilling for resources and destroying the planet, harming the environment and damaging the well-oiled ecosystem of the world. As we attempt to fight back against the benevolent enemy, Lana finds herself discovering more and more of the ruins from the past, and more about the civilization who travelled on the ship. Things go wrong, Lana is put at risk, and the events that transpire are much darker than the original game. I can't say much more without spoiling the game, but what I will say is I found the story even more compelling than the first game, which is saying something. The rich lore that Wishfully have created within this world is truly special, and with every piece of information Lana found, every secret that was revealed and every flashback that we were gifted with, I found myself being drawn deeper into the story, desperate to find out what happened next. But that, I feel, is enough about the story. A great story with bad mechanics would still be a bad game. So let's get into everything else. Much like the first game, Lana 2 is a puzzle platformer, with a bit more emphasis on the puzzle side of that. The 2.5D side-scroller has a plethora of different environmental puzzles to solve to progress through the story. There are a few similar puzzles from the first game. Some require you to use Mui to take out cameras or androids, or need you to run away from attacking robots or animals. However, we also have some new ways to solve puzzles, mainly in the form of Mui and Lana's new ability to remotely take over drones, fish, and other little creatures in order to progress past various hazards or blockages. These new puzzles are a welcome addition to the game, as well as the wide variety of environments and locations we find ourselves traversing. Unlike the first game's journey, Lana's second adventure sees us travelling all over the planet to different biomes and locations, all with their own styles, inhabitants and challenges. An icy mountain forces you underground, dealing with shadowy creatures and fires. An underwater ruin has you dodging dangerous sea creatures and commandeering a submarine. Industrial buildings need you and Mui to traverse different routes in order to get through the factories. And the jungle area challenges you with searching for clues and playing the right tunes. Aside from their varying mechanical challenges, each area has a distinctly different look from the rest, with their own beautiful set of hand-drawn backgrounds, creatures, architecture and general atmosphere, all of which are just a true visual delight. The world itself is so vibrant and perfectly juxtaposes the dark and mechanical forces that threaten to destroy this lovely planet. Another truly vibrant part of Planet of Lana 2 is the sound design, the element of the game that I think is perhaps the most special. The first game was lauded for its music, composed by Takeshi Furukawa, even going on to be nominated for multiple awards, and the music in the sequel is even more beautiful. It pulls your heartstrings in moments of sadness, adds wonder to the grand set pieces or discoveries, and sings you into each area in a way that perfectly complements the visual design. The music would not be out of place in a feature film or blockbuster AAA game, but luckily for us, it sits amongst a beautifully crafted world in this gorgeous indie, so we get to talk about it. Alongside the music, one thing we experience more of in this game than the first is the humans of the world conversing and preaching in their native tongue. Throughout the game, all the conversations are told in a made-up language with no subtitles, leaving us as the audience to infer and interpret the meaning of words, phrases or conversations from context clues or vocal inflections alone. The story is left for you to understand in your own unique way, and though you may find yourself piecing together certain words and phrases thanks to their consistent use or the aforementioned context clues, you'll never truly know what is being said at any point, but the voice actors truly make up for that with their performances. On that, I like to think that this makes Planet of Lana 2 very accessible, as with there being no real language, your understanding of the game can be found without the need to hear what is going on, and with a few other accessibility settings making moving Mui around easier or more obvious, I hope most players could find ways to play through the story. Plus, the puzzles themselves never felt obtuse or made me feel as though I was lacking in the brain department, so I would hope even the most avid anti-puzzlers wouldn't struggle to find out what happens to Lana and the planet of Novo. The game also runs really well on both PC and Steam Deck, so I would hope it'll run just as well on consoles, as the game itself is neither mechanically or visually heavy on the old CPU. Settings wise, there isn't much to say. There are a few visual and audio settings, but it's relatively base level given the circumstances. Overall, I think Planet of Lana 2 is a truly special experience, and a well-deserved sequel for the original story. The world is even more fleshed out, Lana is more driven and confident, and the game looks and sounds absolutely gorgeous. And I am crossing my fingers for a third game to drop some point in the future. And trust me when I say this, I will be there day one, ready to explore even more. This is a game series everyone simply must play. At I Dream of Indie Games, we do believe that games are so much more than a number. That's why we have our Genie Lamp tier system. You want to avoid the dreaded Indie Krampus at all costs, but we go all the way up to the elusive golden Genie Lamp of approval. And when it comes to Planet of Lana 2 Children of the Leaf, I'm awarding this release a gold Genie Lamp of approval.